Welcome to the Miracles and Wellness Podcast. My name is Clarissa and I'm your life and wellness coach and also a beauty expert. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. We'll be discussing all things health and wellness, feeling empowered, and loving yourself more while connecting your mind, body, and spirit. Always know that you can manifest whatever you desire for your greater well-being in your life because I believe that miracles are for everyone. Hey friends, hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the holidays because it is that time. It is November. You know, we had Halloween and now it's full blown, right? It's November. It is November 22nd at this time. Holidays are different for everybody. Sometimes it's joyous times. Sometimes it can bring on sadness for different reasons. Maybe you've lost a loved one or there's a lack thereof, or maybe it's just super stressful. It can pretty much invoke a lot of different feelings and things just come to the surface. And then if you are worried about your health, that can be impacted by food, by alcohol, by just all the things, right? And sometimes we put a lot of focus on food during the holidays. It's mostly about being around loved ones a lot of times. And sometimes food is like a centerpiece. So we focus a lot around the food, right? And then it makes you feel joyous. But it's not about the food. It's about so much more. It's about our emotions and that feeling of belonging and love, which then, if you feel like that's missing, can bring on depression and anxiety and all the other emotions. So it's very powerful, the holidays. It can have an effect on people in many ways, okay? So even like, let's talk about cooking, right? There's always called people that may be cooking, doing a lot of meals. And then sometimes you wind up like snacking while you're making your food. So let's talk about trying to maybe reduce your snacking because it's so tempting, right? And this might not even be a holiday. Sometimes people just snack in general while they are cooking, right? You just want to taste this, taste that. And then honestly, by the time you're finished making your dinner or your lunch or whatever it is that you're cooking, sometimes you really are kind of full because you've been snacking the whole time. And then that comes into play where you put in extra food your body didn't really need. And then you sit down and you have your plate. So before you start cooking, make sure that you're not hungry. You know, sometimes it's like you don't want to eat because you want to wait down to eat with everybody. And it's this thing where people just like hungry all day. And you're just like waiting for that meal, man. You're just waiting for that meal that you've been setting your sights on. And then, you know, ultimately everybody like overeats. And that's just what happens in general whenever you are starving when you go to eat. And, you know, you always can make a plate. You know, there's always those to-go plates. So you don't have to eat every single thing, right? You can pick and choose. But whenever you are cooking, just make sure you're not starving before you start cooking, all right? So making sure that you have something to eat. You don't have to have like a full-blown course per se, but just making sure that you're not hungry. So just sitting down, giving yourself some time to just eat and enjoy your food before you're cooking, all right? And you also can make some snacks ahead of time. So there is something there whenever you feel yourself being ready to stick your hand or the spoon in your mouth. You'd be like, let me taste this right quick. You know, just whatever that is. Maybe you might have some carrots or some celery. That might not be your thing, but just trying to find something healthy or like some kind of veggie or even some fruit if you want the sweets. So if you're making pies, you know, some pies, you know what I'm saying? So good, right? Around the holidays, all of those desserts, right? That's laid out on the table. You see those spreads. So while you're cooking, to keep yourself from digging in, maybe have some fresh fruit out there, right? Organic if possible, or some veggies and just something so that whenever you do feel tempted, making sure it's an eye view so that you can just kind of grab that, right? And do that. And that'll also help cut down on just some of them random things. Because sometimes, you know, we have habits, right? And so you might just have a habit of snacking in general. So it's not just about the holidays. It's just more in your face in the holidays because just, you know, you're thinking about food so much. So just being able to work on developing new habits in general, right? To try to break that. Just being mindful of what it is that you're doing in that moment. So you always can And you also can try to keep your mind going while you're cooking so that you don't get into a boredom state. Like, okay, I've been in here all this time, all day. They got me in this kitchen. I love them, but you know what? I need a break. So then you just start getting flustered, or not flustered, but it's like this boredom. Something comes over you and you're just like, oh, I need a break. But you're not going to take a break because you just want to get it done. So maybe you might want to listen to a podcast, something motivating to get you going, or listen to an audiobook or something like that. So it has your mind occupied and you're feeding yourself with good stuff, right? Then you're also getting your knowledge in there. Also remembering to try to stay hydrated. So water is good for us, and sometimes we are not even hungry. Sometimes we're just dehydrated and we need some water. If there's been a time you've just been sitting there and you've just been feeling kind of tired, just kind of out of it, or you're just thinking you're hungry and you want to eat something, like you just want to grab a snack, but then you actually just sat there and had a cup of water and you just like feel 100% better. So you could do that also whenever you're getting ready to cook, right? You can sit there and you can drink a cup of water before you start, just to get you going. And sometimes whenever you think about putting something in your mouth when you're snacking, just take a sip of something. Just take a sip of your water. So you could have your water next to your fruits or your veggies that you're going to have laid out, so you don't be tempted to just eat everything that you're cooking. Because I know it can be tempting, right? You're just sitting there, it smells good, and we also eat through our senses, right? All those 5 senses we have, and it'll be smelling good. So we just want to try to cut down that temptation. So just making sure that you're just really good and hydrated, and just making sure you just have some water out there. And that might also help out if you have a tendency to drink your sugary drinks or those eggnogs or the alcoholic beverages during the holidays. A lot of times it's going to be loaded with a lot of sugar. So all those empty calories is not going to do your body any good because there's no nutrients in it. So it's just going to kind of hang around. You can't use it for anything. So ultimately that's going to contribute to you gaining weight, or that holiday weight, and just it's also going to affect your health because we know sugar has so many downfalls, right? So for example, you can just make like your own mocktails. So if people are gathering around, they want to have a drink or something, you all could get together and just make something. Getting some fresh fruit, and maybe like some sparkling water if you want to have your little bubbles in there. You could use some coconut water, and you can create lots of pretty little fruity drinks, except yours will be a little bit more nutritious and it won't have all that after effects, right? Because the holidays has an increased consumption of alcoholic beverages. You have all that free time, you're just hanging out, all that boredom kicks in, and stress. Look, at the end of the day, we all know that family can stress you out, right? We love them, but it just happens. A bunch of people get together and just something might come up because we're just human. So then that goes back to just having good ways to cope, right? Because sometimes you might be around somebody, you might get triggered, or you might not be around family at all. And then you might be missing someone. I mean, these last couple of years, there's been a lot of death out there. That's going to come up. There's going to be sadness or stress. There's just so many emotions that can be attached to the holidays. And you also know that you can give yourself permission to feel whatever feelings come up instead of having an overconsumption of alcohol or different substance or all the sweets and the food. There's different kinds of addictions, right? We just talked about that in another episode about food addiction, right? So, and there's going to be spreads everywhere, right? So you might be tempted to overindulge, right? And I'm not talking about the normal, let me grab another plate. You can go into a binge because you might be dealing with your feelings, right? And that can be a food binge, that could be an alcohol binge. There's just so many things. So allow yourself that space. So if you need to excuse yourself because something's getting to you, do that. You're allowed to do that. You do not have to feel obligated to deal with anything that you don't need to deal with that's going to make you feel uneasy, right? Sometimes we feel like we owe it to somebody to deal with this, or we have to succumb to whatever that is. But you can excuse yourself. If you need to go into another room, do that. You need to talk to God, you do that at that moment. You need to meditate, you can do that. Just take whatever space you need and allow yourself that at all times. And that also includes the holidays. Because the holidays, as I said, can be very stressful sometimes. It can bring up a lot of emotions. Sometimes stuff you didn't even know was there. It can be like, boop, here I am. Remember me? And always remember that you can bring a dish. So if you know that your family and friends eats one way, but you eat a certain way because you want your cholesterol to be good, you're watching your blood sugar, all these things, and you're on a roll, it's okay to bring a dish. Bring enough for everyone, right? You can always bring some food with you. You don't even have to be like, oh, hey, this is plant-based. You don't have to describe anything or what's going on. You just let them eat it. Just bring a nice platter. And you just, when everybody's just laying their food out, you lay yours out there too. So that way, if that's what you assumed to consume, you're good. And now people start eating it too. They'll be like, what is this? You don't need to go into like a whole lecture, just be like, hey, this is such and such, and then they will enjoy it. And then I might open up a conversation at one moment. They'll be like, man, you're looking so good. What have you been doing with yourself? Your skin is glowing. It's clear. You drop weight. You will inspire people. And in that way, it'll just open up the conversation naturally. Next thing you know, you're helping somebody else. You're helping somebody that you love who otherwise wouldn't even thought twice about trying this dish that's plant-based or that's healthy. And that's love right there, because you're helping them be healthy. You're helping them better themselves. And what better way is to just show, right? It's better to show people. So you just sat there and you saved your life. Just like that. You never even know. And on the reverse, you do not have to feel obligated to try a dish if you don't want to. You can just look over it, bypass it, and say you don't want it. It's perfectly okay, and you do not have to feel any kind of guilt about it. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings, even if they act like you are. They're okay. Believe me, they are perfectly fine. And then at the end of the day, make sure that you don't have any guilt about what you are eating. Just be mindful of your eat, because it's a lifestyle, and it shouldn't be too overly restrictive to begin with. Just know what your guidelines are for you, because it's different for everybody. And just allow yourself to enjoy the moment, enjoy the day. Just make the best of it. It's about being grateful, regardless of where you are in your life, what's going on, even if it's health related or not health related. Just remember what's going on. Just be appreciative. Just wake up and just look around. So God, thank you for waking up, and just say 5 things that you appreciate. It could just be the smallest things. If you're married, tell your spouse something you appreciate about them. Just do an appreciation game, right? Where you just say little things. Just be like, I appreciate this air. I don't know, anything. Just say you appreciate the smallest things. Be like, I appreciate the fact that you brought me this cup of tea today. I appreciate the fact that you opened the door. And then you just keep saying all the little things you're appreciative of. And you can just watch your mood just be uplifted and happy, because that gratefulness feeling will just take over your soul, and you're going to feel so good, right? Just try that all the time, right? If you just woke up in a bad mood, just try being appreciative of all the things that you have. Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be somebody that wants to be where you are at, that wants something that you have, and that's something that's out of alignment for somebody. So always feel just as grateful as you can be. Even whenever it feels like the times are hard, that's when you need it the most. So if you're having that off day, just be like, man, I feel good. Man, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for all these things. God woke me up, and I'm on my purpose, and boom, I am ready. All right. So I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, and I will talk to you soon. And don't forget that I am launching a Clean Eats Blueprint, where it's going to help you lose weight without feeling hungry, and help you with your health conditions, help reverse your health conditions. So sustain weight loss and reverse diseases naturally. And so just go ahead and put your name on that wait list for it. It is bit.ly/TWA waitlist. That's bit.ly/TWA waitlist. And the link is also in the show notes. You can just click on it and come on over. All right. Till next time.
If you like my mommy show, leave a review. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for coming by. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a written review. Until next time, love and light.